Take a breath, my beloved child, and come closer for a moment. There is a stirring around you, a gentle invitation you can almost feel in your chest, as though something unseen is leaning near. Listen closely, because there is something you are about to understand, something that has been trying to reach you through the noise of urgency and the pressure of expectations. This is not a warning, and it is certainly not a countdown. It is an opening, subtle and sacred. You have heard messages that try to rush your spirit, messages that create fear if you do not act fast enough. But hear me now, dear one, your soul was never meant to be pushed by fear. What many call an hour is not measured by clocks in heaven. It is a moment of alignment, a shift inside you that grows quiet before it becomes clear. The true miracle begins when you stop bracing yourself for disaster and start welcoming the peace that is reaching for you. Stay with me, because the deeper meaning is still unfolding. The message you felt drawn to was never meant to frighten you or make you think that blessing only comes to the quickest or the most desperate. You are not in danger of missing what is meant for you. Instead, you are being invited into an inner hour, a sacred pause where heaven speaks differently, softly, steadily, without pressure. And if you listen with your heart instead of your fear, you will sense what is moving toward you. This symbolic hour is the moment when what once felt confusing begins to loosen its grip. It is when your thoughts slow just enough for truth to slip through the cracks. The divine does not rush you. It waits until your spirit can actually receive what is being offered. There is something you are about to understand, and its revelation will not arrive with a shout but with a settling. Peace travels differently than panic, and it always carries a signature your soul recognizes. So instead of imagining a ticking clock, imagine a door gently opening inside you. Imagine the kind of shift that does not demand action but invites awareness. You are stepping into a moment where clarity approaches like a quiet companion, not a storm. The hour is symbolic of readiness, of alignment, of receiving what you once felt unworthy of. And as your heart softens, you may feel the first hints of it, an easing in your breath, a warmth in your chest, a sense of being guided. Hold this gently, my dear one, because the unfolding is still in motion and your spirit is learning to recognize its own turning. There is a kindness moving toward you that will not startle you but will meet you like morning light. Let this moment be expectation, not anxious waiting. And as your heart continues to open, you will be ready to notice the signs that gently rise to meet you. Come closer now, my dear one, and let your breath guide you back to yourself. You have been moving through the day with thoughts pulling in every direction, leaving your inner world stirred and unsettled. But in this moment, nothing demands your urgency. You are allowed to simply arrive. Take a slow breath in, not to perform anything, but to remember that you still belong to your own body. Feel the air enter gently, as though it has been waiting to meet you again. Let your exhale fall out of you naturally, like a soft release from somewhere deep inside your chest. If your body softens even a little, stay with me, because that softening is the doorway peace uses to begin. Notice the subtle warmth forming at the center of your chest, a warmth that feels like recognition more than sensation. It doesn't rush or flare, it gathers patiently, as though it knows your spirit has needed something steady. Allow your shoulders to drop a fraction, letting gravity hold what you have been trying to carry alone. You don't need to force anything, your body understands this invitation already. Breathe again, just a little slower this time. Feel how the breath settles differently, less like survival and more like return. Your scattered thoughts begin to loosen their grip when you treat them with gentleness instead of resistance. Peace doesn't arrive like a command. It approaches like a friend who knocks softly, waiting for you to notice the quiet presence at your door. Let your jaw loosen, your hands relax, your spine lengthen by a small, forgiving inch. Each tiny release is its own prayer, its own whisper from heaven saying you are safe enough to unclench. You are not meant to hold tension like a shield. You are meant to rest in the spaces where your soul can breathe again. Stay with the warmth in your chest for a moment. Let it grow without needing to understand it fully. That warmth is a sign of alignment, a signal that your inner world is shifting from chaos to calm. Feel the difference between the hurried energy you arrived with and the grounded presence settling into you now. That contrast is the evidence that something inside you is remembering the way back to peace. As your breath evens out, you may sense the air moving through you with greater ease, almost as if it knows exactly where to go. This is your spirit finding its center again, guided not by pressure but by grace that moves at your true pace. There is nothing to chase here. There is only the gentle return to the place where clarity begins. Let this stillness anchor you, placing your feet firmly beneath the life you often rush past. You are arriving in yourself again, slowly, quietly, with a kind of reverence your heart has longed for. And as this calm settles deeper, you will be ready to notice the next subtle shift rising toward you like morning light. There is a reason, my dear one, that even when your breath begins to steady, something inside you still feels heavy. You have been carrying more than most people can see, and certainly more than you ever let yourself say out loud. There is a quiet ache beneath your calm exterior, a mixture of questions, disappointments, hopes, and longings that have been pressed down for so long they began to feel normal. But they are not your natural state. They are simply the layers you learn to hold when life asked too much of you at once. You have carried heartbreak that did not break in one moment but in small, quiet fragments over time. You have held on to memories you tried to release, only to feel them return in the stillness of the night. You have walked through days when your smile hid more than it revealed, when you felt the world moving around you while something inside felt stuck, suspended, unsure. And you have wondered, more times than you admit, why peace seems to come in whispers while pain comes in waves. You do not feel this heaviness because you are weak. You feel it because you are human, tender in ways even you forget. There is a softness inside you that has endured storms you never deserved. There is a longing inside you that has waited far longer than anyone realizes. And there is a confusion that rises whenever your heart senses change but cannot yet see the shape of it. You have been trying to make sense of a story still in motion, trying to fit chaos into clarity before clarity has had time to form. Listen, my dear one. The turbulence inside you is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that your spirit is exhausted from pretending to be unshakable. You have been holding so much together that your heart has forgotten what it feels like to be carried. But you were never meant to shoulder every unanswered question, every unresolved feeling, every moment of uncertainty alone. The weight you feel is not weakness, it is the evidence of how deeply you have loved, how fiercely you have tried, how bravely you have continued. Let yourself acknowledge the tiredness in your chest, the tightness behind your ribs, the ache that comes when you try to be strong for too long. Let yourself be honest about the nights when hope felt thin. Let yourself admit that you are weary of pretending the pieces fit when you can feel them slipping through your fingers. There is no judgment here. Only recognition. And as we speak gently about this hidden weight, notice the subtle contrast awakening inside you. Notice how simply naming the heaviness creates a small space for light to enter. Notice how your spirit softens when it realizes it no longer has to hide. Peace begins in these small shifts, these tender moments of truth where you can finally breathe without holding everything so tightly. Stay here with me, because acknowledging this weight is the first quiet step toward releasing it, and the path ahead is already beginning to open. Wait quietly now, my dear one, and let a new understanding rise within you. The delays that have pressed against your heart were never signs of abandonment, though they often felt that way on the hardest days. You wondered why doors stayed closed and why answers remained silent while your spirit reached for clarity. Yet in the unseen spaces, something wiser was being shaped around you, arranging paths you could not recognize. What felt motionless was actually careful preparation, gently unfolding behind the veil. Stay with me, because there is meaning in what seemed like stillness. Every paused opportunity, every delayed message, every unexpected obstacle carried a shield you could not see. Not denied, not forgotten, not abandoned, these truths whisper deeper than disappointment. You were held back from what would have harmed your peace or fractured your growth. The timing that frustrated you was guarding something tender inside you, waiting for strength to meet clarity instead of confusion meeting chance. You looked at closed doors and thought they reflected your worth, but heaven was closing what was too small for the person you were becoming. You prayed for movement without realizing movement would have carried you into storms not meant for you. Frustration told you nothing was happening. Protection whispered everything was. Hidden timing is rarely comforting in the moment, yet it is generous in ways the heart only understands later, when clarity finally catches up to longing. My dear one, doubt may have made you believe you were forgotten, but doubt often speaks loudest just before truth becomes visible. The waiting stretched longer than you felt you could bear, yet it stretched you into someone capable of receiving what used to overwhelm you. Delay is not refusal. It is refinement. Delay is not silence, it is strategy. Delay is not punishment, it is protection shaping the unseen edges of your future with a patience your spirit will one day bless. So breathe gently and release the belief that you are behind. You are exactly where divine wisdom has placed you, standing at the edge of a timing crafted for your good. What has not happened yet is not a loss but a safeguard. What has felt withheld has been held for the right moment, the right strength, the right version of you. And as you soften into this truth, you will begin to sense that something aligned is already approaching, steady and sure. Let this realization settle into the places where fear once lived. You are stepping out of the belief that delays are punishments and into the truth that they are protections designed with extraordinary care. Nothing meant for you has slipped away. Nothing prepared for you has been lost. Your path has been tended like a garden waiting for the right season to bloom. Trust the gentleness moving toward you now, and allow your heart to lean into the possibility that what felt late is actually arriving exactly on time. Let your spirit rest in this. There are moments, my dear one, when something subtle brushes against your awareness and you wonder if it means more than it seems. You pause for a heartbeat, sensing a small shift, almost like the world narrows to a quiet point of attention. These are the openings where signs speak, not loudly, but with a gentle insistence that feels familiar. They arrive when your spirit is ready to notice what your mind once dismissed. You may see numbers like 1111 or 555 repeating in places too random to ignore, stirring a question in your heart. You may hear a song you haven't thought about in years, appearing at the exact moment your thoughts turn tender. Or maybe a dream lingers longer than usual, carrying an image or phrase that refuses to fade. These are not accidents, they are invitations to look closer. The world will tell you these moments are coincidence, but your soul knows better. Feel the soft chill along your arms when something resonates deeper than reason. Feel the gentle warmth rising in your chest when a message seems to echo a truth you needed. These sensations are the language of alignment. They remind you that meaning does not shout, it settles into you quietly, waiting for recognition. Notice how your inner world responds differently when a true sign appears. It doesn't create panic or pressure. Instead, it brings a subtle ease, as though something inside you exhales. This is the contrast between randomness and resonance. Randomness feels empty. Resonance feels like coming home. When a sign carries peace instead of urgency, that is when your spirit recognizes it as guidance rather than noise. Dreams are another place where heaven speaks softly. You may wake with a sentence repeating in your mind or an image glowing with unusual clarity. Pay attention to the dreams that feel heavier with meaning, the ones that linger behind your ribs long after morning comes. These are gentle reminders that your soul is listening even when you are sleeping. Their purpose is guidance, not fear. Songs, too, can carry messages. A melody might rise at the exact moment your heart whispers a question. A lyric may answer something you have been unable to voice. When a song finds you with uncanny timing, notice the way your chest warms or your breath pauses. These are the subtle signals that meaning is threading itself through the ordinary moments of your day. And when signs align in a way that feels almost orchestrated, let yourself pause before questioning it away. Your rational mind may look for explanations, but your spirit feels the harmony of it. When the right sign arrives, you'll feel a calm recognition, as though something inside you says yes without hesitation. That yes is not imagination, it is resonance revealing itself. Trust the gentle patterns forming around your life, my dear one. They guide you with kindness, asking only awareness. Follow the peace, and it will lead you toward what is to unfold. My dear one, now that you are learning to notice the signs that move gently toward you, it becomes just as important to understand how to discern what is truly meant for you. Not every stirring is guidance, and not every whisper carries truth. Some things tug at you because they echo old wounds or familiar patterns. Others glow with a quiet steadiness that feels like home. Discernment is the gift that helps you know the difference, and it begins with the simplest question: does this bring me peace, or does it send me into panic? Listen closely, because this distinction will protect your heart more than any rule or warning. Truth does not rush you, pressure you, or leave you gasping for clarity. Truth speaks slowly. It carries calm even when it challenges you. It makes your chest feel warm, your breath settle, your thoughts soften into alignment. Illusion, on the other hand, often arrives with urgency. It demands your attention through fear, confusion, or emotional spikes that leave you feeling unsteady. When something presses you, overwhelms you, or twists your peace into knots, it is wisdom, not hesitation, that asks you to pause. You are allowed to take your time. You are allowed to weigh the feeling in your body. You are allowed to ask yourself whether this nudge respects your boundaries or tries to bypass them. Discernment honors your autonomy. It does not require you to hand your power to anyone or anything outside yourself. It strengthens your inner knowing, the voice within that has been guiding you quietly even when you doubted it. That voice speaks with gentleness. It nudges rather than pushes. It invites rather than insists. If a sign or situation asks you to abandon your values, ignore your instincts, or move faster than your spirit can breathe, consider it carefully. Peace does not hide itself. It may be soft, but it is unmistakable once you learn to listen for it. Sometimes peace feels like a softening in your shoulders. Sometimes it feels like a slow exhale after a long day. Sometimes it feels like clarity blooming inside your chest, subtle but certain. That is your compass, and it will never mislead you. Consent is part of discernment too, even in spiritual guidance. Anything meant for your good will honor your readiness and your boundaries. You do not owe your trust to any message that frightens you or tries to claim authority over your choices. Divine wisdom does not overpower, it illuminates. It allows you to choose freely, knowing that love cannot grow in places where fear dictates the pace. You are wiser than you realize, my dear one. The discernment you seek has been living inside you this whole time, quietly waiting for your attention. When something comes into your life, whether a person, an opportunity, or a sign, hold it gently for a moment. Notice how your body reacts before your mind begins its explanations. If your spirit tightens, slow down. If your spirit softens, lean in. This simple practice will guide you more faithfully than any external voice ever could. Let this truth settle into you now. You are safe to trust your peace. And as you learn to follow it, the path ahead will reveal itself with a clarity that feels natural, steady, and kind. My dear one, now that your heart is learning to trust peace more than pressure, let us gently turn toward the small practices that can guide you back to center when life pulls you off course. You don't need grand rituals or perfect discipline to realign your spirit. You only need moments, brief, tender pauses where your breath and awareness return to one another. Overwhelm always tells you that everything must change at once. Wisdom whispers that realignment begins with the smallest steps. So let us start with breath, the oldest prayer your body knows. Sit as you are, without adjusting anything to appear calm. Simply let the air touch you. Inhale slowly, as if welcoming something kind. Exhale gently, as if releasing a burden you no longer need to carry. As you breathe, let these words form softly inside you, just breathe. Say it again, slower this time. Just breathe. Feel how the phrase shifts something within you, making space for the next step. Now, my dear one, place a hand over your chest. Notice the quiet rhythm beneath your palm, the pulse that has carried you through every moment without asking for recognition. Let the warmth of your hand anchor you. Then whisper inwardly, just notice. Notice where your shoulders sit. Notice the tension in your jaw. Notice the way your breath changes when you pay attention. You are not judging yourself. You are simply becoming aware, and awareness itself is healing. When the world presses too hard, or when anxiety rises like a sudden tide, return to this small practice. Just return. Return to your breath, your body, your presence. Return to the truth that you are allowed to slow down. Return to the quiet ground beneath your feet. Tiny moments of return can shift an entire day, because each one reminds your spirit where home truly is. You may also find clarity by giving your thoughts a place to land. Take a piece of paper, nothing fancy, and write a single sentence. Right now, I feel. Then let your hand finish the sentence without editing or shaping the words. Sometimes the heart needs only 2 or 3 honest lines to release the heaviness it has been holding in silence. This is not about analysis. It is about permission to be real, even for a moment. Another gentle practice is grounding through your senses. Look around the space where you sit and quietly name one thing you can see, one thing you can touch, one thing you can hear. Allow your awareness to soften into the present moment. Let the simplicity of this ritual soothe the part of you that fears you are drifting too far ahead or falling too far behind. The present is where your peace waits patiently. These micro-practices are small, but do not mistake their size for insignificance. The smallest shift in your inner world can redirect the entire movement of your day. Just breathe. Just notice. Just return. And each time you do, clarity gathers like light at the edge of morning, ready to guide you gently forward. My dear one, stay close for a moment, because something within you is already preparing for what you have been sensing but have not yet seen. The shift you have been waiting for rarely begins with fireworks or dramatic signs. It begins quietly, almost imperceptibly, with a soft calm settling inside your chest. Before anything changes around you, something changes within you, and that inner shift becomes the doorway for everything that follows. You may not recognize it at first. It might appear as a morning where your thoughts feel lighter than usual, or an evening where your worries loosen their hold without a clear reason. You may find yourself breathing more naturally, noticing small beauties around you with a tenderness you forgot you had. This is the early movement of alignment, gentle but unmistakable once you tune your heart toward it. Stay with me. There is something you are about to understand in a deeper way. The surprises that enter your life with divine timing rarely rush. They arrive with a presence that feels steady, almost familiar, as if they were waiting patiently for the moment your spirit could recognize them. Anticipation can make you restless, but assurance calms you. And what is coming leans more toward assurance than urgency. You may feel a sense of readiness rising in you long before clarity reaches your outer world. This inner readiness is the first signal. It feels like exhaling after holding your breath for too long, like realizing you can stop bracing for disappointment. Peace expands quietly inside you, filling the spaces fear once occupied. That peace prepares you to receive what used to overwhelm you. When the shift begins to take form, you will not need to grasp for it. You will not need to chase or force anything. Instead, you will feel a moment of recognition, as if something clicks softly into place. It may come as a conversation that brings clarity, a message that opens a new path, or an unexpected kindness that reminds you you're not forgotten. But whatever shape it takes, it will carry the same signature: calm, steady, grounding. Notice the contrast stirring within you even now. Anticipation tightens the heart, but assurance opens it. Anxiety leans forward with tension, but true guidance leans forward with trust. Feel how your spirit responds differently when you imagine a shift that brings peace rather than pressure. That feeling is not imagination. It is your intuition adjusting to the frequency of what approaches. There will be a moment soon, perhaps in an ordinary hour, when you sense something quietly aligning. The air around you may feel lighter. Your thoughts may pause at just the right time. A small sign may appear with uncanny grace. And when it does, you'll feel a calm recognition, not confusion. A gentle yes will rise inside you, steady and sure. Let your heart rest in that coming ease, my dear one. Let it prepare you more softly than anticipation ever could. You are moving toward clarity shaped by peace, and that peace is already reaching toward you. Let me tell you a gentle story, my dear one, a quiet glimpse into how restoration often arrives long before we recognize its shape. Imagine a woman sitting alone in her living room late in the evening, the kind of night where silence feels heavier than comfort. The day has worn her thin. Her thoughts feel tangled, her heart tired from hoping and hurting at the same time. She sits with her hands folded, staring at nothing in particular, wondering if anything in her life is truly shifting or if she has been fooling herself with expectations she can't name out loud. The room is dim, and the weight of the night presses against her shoulders. But then, without fanfare, something small changes. Her phone lights up with a message from someone she hadn't heard from in months. Not someone dramatic or romantic, just a person who once knew her well enough to speak gently to her spirit. The message is simple: you crossed my mind just now. I hope you're holding on. Nothing more. Yet when she reads it, something inside her loosens, as if a knot she didn't know how to untie finally gives way. In that moment, dawn begins quietly inside her long before the sun rises outside. This is how light often returns, not through grand gestures, but through unexpected kindness that finds you exactly where darkness thought it had settled. She takes a slow breath, deeper than any she's taken all day. The heaviness doesn't vanish, but it shifts just enough for hope to slip through. She places a hand over her heart and feels warmth spreading there, subtle and new. Renewal doesn't rush her, it simply sits beside her like a gentle companion. The next morning, she wakes with a softness she didn't expect. Nothing extraordinary has changed around her, yet something within her feels different. She notices birds outside her window, their small songs threading through the early air. She makes her coffee and, for the first time in weeks, the taste feels comforting rather than routine. She senses clarity rising at the edges of her thoughts, like a light beginning to outline what was once blurred. Later that day, she steps outside for a short walk, not to escape anything but to be present. As she walks, she remembers a dream she had the night before, one she had almost forgotten. In the dream, she was standing in a field at dawn, watching the first light spill over the horizon. She didn't know what it meant then, but now she feels its echo inside her, a quiet message saying she is moving towards something better, something steadier. This is how restoration often arrives, my dear one. Through people who speak one sentence that steadies your spirit. Through dreams that linger like gentle prophecy. Through mornings that feel like beginning again. It doesn't always come with certainty, but it always comes with warmth. And as she walks back home, she realizes she is not who she was the night before. Something in her is turning toward light, and the path ahead begins to look different, softer, more possible. My dear one, now that your heart has tasted the first hints of light and renewal, let us create a gentle rhythm for the days ahead, a way to anchor the peace that has begun to rise within you. You do not need a rigid plan or perfect discipline. You only need simple, intentional moments that guide you from drifting through your days to moving with quiet alignment. Think of this as a soft path rather than a strict routine, a way of weaving peace into the ordinary hours that shape your life. When you wake in the morning, pause before reaching for anything, your phone, your thoughts, your worries. Place your hand over your chest and feel the warmth there. Let your first breath be slow and steady, like greeting an old friend. Whisper inwardly, I choose peace today, not as a demand but as an invitation. This single breath can set the tone for your entire day, grounding you before the world begins to pull at your attention. Throughout the day, let yourself notice small shifts instead of waiting for dramatic signs. Pay attention to the softness in your breath when something aligns, or the tightening in your chest when something does not. These sensations are gentle guides, helping you navigate with clarity rather than confusion. You may find that certain moments feel unexpectedly lighter, as if a weight you didn't realize you were carrying has quietly lifted. These small changes matter. They are markers of your spirit realigning with peace. Choose one brief moment each afternoon to pause, even if only for 60 seconds. Close your eyes if you can, take a slow inhale, and feel the air move through your body. Ask yourself a simple question: what do I need right now? Do not force an answer. Just listen. Sometimes your spirit will respond with rest. Sometimes with courage. Sometimes with only a feeling rather than words. This practice will teach you to trust your inner knowing more than the noise around you. In the evening, before sleep, reflect gently on the day. You do not need to analyze your choices or replay your struggles. Instead, name one moment when you felt peace, even if it lasted only a few seconds. Let yourself relive that feeling, the warmth, the ease, the steadiness. Then name one moment when you felt tension or drifted away from yourself. Not to judge it, but to understand it. These simple reflections create awareness, and awareness creates alignment. As the days pass, you may begin to notice that certain things feel different. Conversations that once drained you feel easier, tasks that once overwhelmed you feel manageable, or moments that once felt empty now feel unexpectedly meaningful. This is the quiet fruit of intentional presence. This is your life turning gently toward peace. And as you continue this rhythm, you will sense a soft anticipation rising within you. Not the restless kind, but the grounded kind, the assurance that something good is forming beneath the surface. Let this rhythm carry you, my dear one. Let it guide you toward the small, faithful changes that prepare your spirit for what is approaching with quiet grace. My dear one, pause with me now and look gently over the path you've walked in this unfolding. Let your heart recognize how far you've already come, even if the outer landscape still looks familiar. In the beginning, confusion pressed heavily against your spirit, clouding your thoughts and blurring your hope. You stood in a place where questions outnumbered answers, where uncertainty pulled at you with relentless hands. But slowly, softly, clarity began to seep through the cracks, arriving in whispers rather than declarations. What once felt tangled now starts to loosen, and you can feel the shift, even if you cannot fully name it yet. Remember how pressure used to rise inside you like a tide, demanding action before you could breathe. You held your worries tightly, believing that tension kept you safe. But now you are learning a different rhythm. Peace is no longer a distant idea but a felt presence, growing inside your chest with surprising steadiness. What once overwhelmed you now meets a calmer heart, a heart that has learned to soften rather than brace. You have discovered that peace doesn't shout, it settles, and its settling has begun to shape you. Think, too, of the waiting, the long, quiet stretches that once felt like abandonment. You wondered if timing had forgotten you, if life had moved on without carrying your hopes with it. Yet as you listened with a gentler ear, you began to see that waiting was not emptiness but preparation. Waiting was not denial but choreography. Waiting was not lost time but protected time. Not denied, not forgotten, not abandoned, these truths have woven themselves into your spirit, replacing fear with trust. Just breathe as you let these contrasts move through you. From confusion to clarity. From pressure to peace. From waiting to trusting timing. Each shift has unfolded like a sequence of soft dawns, illuminating your inner landscape little by little. These changes are not accidental, they are signs of the transformation you have been undergoing quietly, steadily, faithfully. Sometimes the greatest miracles happen inside you long before they appear around you. Feel how your spirit responds now, how it stretches gently toward what lies ahead with a steadiness you didn't have before. This is the rhythm of your becoming, the evidence that something sacred has been forming beneath the surface of your days. You have learned to listen with more patience, to breathe with more intention, to trust with more softness. You have allowed the light to touch the places that once felt unreachable. And though many open loops have found their resting place, a few remain on purpose, not to create anxiety, but to create anticipation. The kind of anticipation that feels warm instead of tense, grounded instead of urgent. The story is still unfolding, my dear one, and you are standing in the gentle space between what has been healed and what is ready to bloom. Let your heart rest here for a moment, knowing that the next movement will meet you with grace. Come closer one last time, my dear one, and let these final words rest gently over your heart. You have walked through reflection, release, and renewal, and now you stand in a softer place within yourself. This moment is not an ending but a blessing placed gently in your hands, a blessing meant to go with you into the quiet corners of your life. Feel the warmth gathering in your chest as you receive it, like a small flame that does not burn but illuminates. My beloved child, peace go before you. Let it guide each step you take. You do not walk alone, even on the days when silence feels heavy and the world feels far away. There is a sacred companionship surrounding you, heaven's nearness, the presence that has watched over your unfolding, and the quiet bond you share with others who are walking their own healing paths. Isolation may whisper that you are unseen, but community answers in a different voice, reminding you that your journey is part of something larger, something woven together with many hearts seeking the same gentle light. So let this blessing settle into your spirit. May your days be touched with calm, may your nights be wrapped in rest, and may your steps be guided by the steady assurance that you are held. May clarity meet you in unexpected moments. May kindness find you through people who speak truth into your heart. May you feel supported, not only by heaven but by those who gather here with their own stories, their own hopes, their own prayers. Let peace be your companion, rising beside you like morning light. As you move forward, know that this space is a soft place for you to return whenever you need it. A place where your questions are welcome, where your tender moments are honored, where your spirit can breathe without fear or judgment. If something in this journey touched you, feel free to share your reflections, your openings, or simply a word that rests on your heart. If you carry a prayer request or a quiet longing, you can leave it here as well. You never know who may read it, who may lift your name in a moment of compassion, who may offer a gentle word that meets you at just the right time. There is no pressure, dear one, only invitation. You can choose how you wish to be here, silent, expressive, observant, or connected. Your presence alone brings its own light. And if you feel called to stay connected or continue walking this path with others who seek peace and restoration, you are welcome to remain part of this growing circle. Your voice has value. Your journey has meaning. Your heart has a place here. So step forward now with grace. Carry the warmth of this moment with you, letting it glow quietly beneath your days. My beloved child, peace go before you, peace follow behind you, and peace rest gently upon you. And whenever you feel the need to return, this sanctuary of words and hearts will be waiting, ready to welcome you home.